Good evening and welcome to Monday Night on Bad Dog Comedy TV and the Nostalgique podcast with your hosts, Abba Amaquando and Ben Sosa Wright. Now, please give it up in the chat for Abba and Ben.
Oh my god! Hi! Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's so nice to see you, Ben.
It's so nice to see you, Abba. You're glowing.
You're glowing, honey. And look at your collared shirt.
Thank you. The glow, it's grease. It's grease. It's sunblock. And you know what?
Greece? I was like, wait, you went to Greece?
I went to Greece. Well, I do live just south of the Danforth, so practically. Greek town.
And that's
Take that to the bank.
Take that to the bank and cash it in.
And I will. BMO. Just kidding. I'm not with BMO.
No.
I'm with Simply Financial.
Wait,
okay?
Oh my god, that's really millennial of you.
You know what? It's so strange because I was actually with CIBC collab with President's Choice Financial.
Yes.
And then one day out of the blue, President's Choice just emailed and was like, listen, we're not going to exist anymore. So you're actually going to get this new girl called Simply.
That's wild.
And then I just had to go through this whole rebranding identity crisis.
You had to rebrand. But sometimes it's good to rebrand.
And you know what? Like a phoenix, I rose. From
the what? Who's that?
We have a comment.
I was so cool. Don't lie.
So cool.
Thank you.
I have to agree. I have to agree.
This is a made-up account. This account was made today.
This is, I think Abba created bots for the show, and these are bots. Abba has a click farm. Abba has a click farm in Oakville, Ontario.
Yeah,
and they're all working away.
And that's why I have so many followers on all.
That's why we're verified. Okay.
Hi, Monica.
Monica, hola. Oh my god, I miss. Oh my god, we have friends. We have friends watching Abba. We're representing our community.
It's really great, and we really are. And I'm excited tonight because we're talking about such great topics.
We haven't. It's also kind of like our topic, like our pop sensation, I feel like is the furthest back we've gone kind of in the zeitgeist.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
For sure. The furthest back we've gone.
Yeah, like we're really, and it's kind of nice. I'm like, we're getting into our history. We're getting into roots of like pop and R&B and soul and well, we're the queens.
I love when you just trail off.
I just trail off.
It's honestly so great. I'm excited to talk about this pop sensation, but I'm also excited because our guest is extremely well learned. Some would even say she has her degree and her PhD, Henry?
She has a PhD. She is a reverend doctor.
Her captain,
reverend doctor, which is a phrase Abba has coined. And it's but our guest is truly, with every pop star, with every person who's ever sang a song, I think our guest knows.
Just knows shit, has been to the concerts, has
read the book.
Research.
He's read the book.
Literally was telling me about the book today. And I'm really excited because he just released an album.
And it's so funny.
So fucking funny. We're both key.
We are. This is true. This is actually true tea. If you listen to the album, you could hear Abba and I laughing because we were sitting together, and it's called Capricorn. It's oh my goodness, Capricornication. I was I almost had to slip up and called it Californication.
Sweetie, it's not the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I know it's not the Red Hot, and this is if you want the Red Hot Chili Peppers, this is not that. This is stand-up comedy.
We eventually will talk about the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, we will. I have a lot to say. Me too. Part of my sexual awakening.
I have a lot to say about Anthony. I'm not going to lie about that.
The cock socks.
Whoa, that you just unlocked a memory that I forgot.
I know. I remember seeing that as like a little boy and being scandalized.
Being like, oh, I'm gay now.
I was like, but also being like, it was so nice because it gave me permission to kind of like, be like, oh, like this is like porn for me, but I could look at it openly because it's just like news.
Yes. I remember being like, damn, that's a grown man.
Yeah.
That's a grown man's body.
I'm looking back a little bit, not for me.
Okay, we're getting off the
we're getting off the topic. Okay. Our guest is so funny. Download his stand-up album wherever you could download anything. It's called Capricornication. It's literally the funniest thing you'll ever hear in your life.
Absolutely.
He's so funny. He's been tearing it up on the podcast scene.
Truly making his rounds.
Literally. Great podcast.
Him so much.
Please welcome Brandon Ash Muhammad.
Oh my god, I'm here.
Oh, he's here.
I'm here. I changed outfits again.
Brandon.
This is your third time.
This is his third reveal.
Outfit.
Damn, Brandon, you look really, really.
You look really good.
Thank you.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Thank you.
Are you sure you're not bi? You
No.
wouldn't date me, would you?
I'm sure I'm not.
Okay. Fucking rude. It's fine.
I'm sure.
Started off like
Not even.
I'm sure. I'm sure. No, I got an award.
Oh. Oh my god, listeners, Brandon is holding up an award that he won.
Outstanding Student Award presented to Brandon Muhammad, and that's bitch. You went to
Public school, 2004, 2005.
You listen. I'm not about.
I told you. We've talked.
We have talked.
I told you about the first day of that school there.
Yes,
I also went to the daycare that's there, and I showed up to the place that you work at, and then they were like, "You don't go here. You need to leave."
Yeah. Oh god. Oh my god. This outfit looks so good.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Gotta agree. The outfit isn't. This is Boogie Nights. I was gonna say this is very like 70s, 80s.
It is. I really like it, and I think it's on brand for who we're talking about, seeing as she reached her peak around 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
No, she did not reach.
When did she reach her peak?
Well, here's the thing. Brandon's gonna edit. This will be very much like we are getting a free class today.
And Brandon has also promised that he's gonna fight us. Like,
I'm gonna fucking fight both. Oh, can I swear?
Okay.
Yes, you can swear.
I swear.
We're fighting.
This is the thing about Brandon. He will fight me for no motherfucking reason. All I do is support you, and every day it's strife. It's stress.
That's true.
What's wrong with
That's what happens when you associate
Sometimes
with Ben.
it is. Sometimes it's tough love.
Isn't Ben your amiga Cheeto? Like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, you know, Raven and Adrian had a tumultuous relationship.
They did.
They did.
But you know what? I think at the end of the day, they were always sisters.
They were always.
We are sisters.
And we are sisters.
We are sisters.
We made up our baby. Okay.
But truly, I can't believe, number one, what you're wearing. It's iconic. Listeners, Brandon's wearing I'd say a Tommy Hilfiger zip up polo?
No, it's not. It's a button up.
It's a button up. Sorry, I thought it was
button
a zipper.
But I can't have the fucking fan on, and I don't have air conditioning in my house.
The chest hair is out. The chest hair is, and you know what?
okay.
I kind of have my chest hair too.
So I'm just like,
I want to have my chest hair out.
But you know what? It's out. Chest hair, it's the proverbial chest hair. Chest hair is more of a feeling than an actual thing.
It is a feeling.
Your chest hair can be your eye makeup. Your chest hair can be your bangs.
It can be a state of mind.
It could be a state of mind. It could be a state of being.
Ooh, and that's not on that.
That's not on that. But who are we discussing? I don't think we've even said yet who we're discussing.
Said who we're discussing.
We've been baiting. We've been baiting them.
Who are we discussing?
Who are we discussing?
We are discussing the one, the only, the legend.
Miss Tina Turner.
Okay. And I'm so excited because you actually went to her concert.
I went to her final concert, her final tour. Final tour.
How old were you?
I was, I think, 16 or 15?
16 or 15.
And I went by myself.
Old enough to really like be developing a taste in music. Like that was your formative.
Well, I'd always loved Tina Turner. Tina Turner, and I used to think my grandmother was Tina Turner because they looked the same when they were.
That's really sweet.
They were like, because they're like around the same age essentially.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I remember when I was a kid, anytime I would get upset, my mom would put in the "What's Love Got to Do with It" VHS, and I would watch the story of Tina Turner.
Oh, it was such a good story. It was such
a crazy movie.
It's a crazy story.
It's a very black people. It's one of the most iconic black movies.
And I'm really excited to talk about that. But I was wondering, do we want to talk about your album first?
Okay, let's talk about my album.
That's doing crazy.
Sorry, Tina.
Tina, you're gonna have to wait.
Tina.
You're gonna have to wait for just a second.
Yeah. Let's talk about your album. So how are you feeling? Like, I think it was received extremely well.
It was extremely well. Today's like the last day people can buy it, and all the money will go to the charities. So buy it.
Yes.
Buy it.
Yes.
Buy it.
You're giving to multiple charities.
I don't know. It's just been like a crazy time. It's been a crazy time. I went from not doing anything to being so busy, and then being in the news.
Yeah.
Being literally on the news, being on the TV.
Yeah, that's huge.
What has that been? I mean, we've talked about it like privately a bit, but like,
Yeah.
what has it been like truly, like so many more people, and you already had a following before your album, but now like so many more people know who you are and know the ground you've been breaking here in Canada.
Well, it's just crazy. Like I remember the first day it was well, I guess a month ago today, and then Dave Miraj shared it, and then I got a DM from some dude in Portugal.
Whoa!
And then he told me that he heard the album and he laughed so hard and he couldn't go for his run because he was laughing too hard.
Oh,
yeah,
I love that.
So it's just like crazy to, I guess, have this exposure finally, and it's kind of like, I guess it's been like a kind of a long time coming. So it's kind of like vindicated me, and like it's given me the confidence where like before, like when you're someone like us, or especially like someone like, I guess like me, I was the only one for so long. You feel like you are like you're lesser. Or like you're crazy, you're like, am I talented? Or like what is it? And I feel like this like was finally like, okay, you know what? I am actually talented.
Yeah.
I am actually talented.
Yeah, it's
and
true.
not only that, it's like the audiences who never knew that they had you to watch are finally now like they're vindicated too, and they're like, oh no, like stand up can be for me because like
it is.
There's someone like me on stage. And
I actually, to speak on that, the first time when I first started doing stand up, Brandon was like the first Black queer comedian who I saw perform in real life, because there isn't a dearth of like Black gay comedians online. You can of course you can find them. The issue is being a comedian, being Black, being queer, and coming up in Toronto, trying to get work. If you don't see yourself represented, of course, you're going to think that you're breaking ground every time you apply for something or submit something. So watching you was actually like, I think it was like integral to how much I wanted to continue doing comedy. Like there have been multiple times in my career where I've been like, maybe I should just stop, because like, how far can I actually get? But
that's how I felt too. That's how I felt too. Where I was just like, oh, I guess I'll just be this little like unknown person.
Yeah. And I keep saying this. I keep saying this. When you go to the US and you blow up, and the international implications that will have, they're gonna miss the fuck out of you. So everybody better give Brandon his roses right the fuck now.
Bitches be mad, bling bling.
Bitches be mad, and you're breaking ground. So let's celebrate that.
Well, it's like people also don't know the history. Like whenever I tell people that I'm the only gay Black stand up in Canada, they're like, no, you're not. And I'm just like, how do you know? But also like before that, this decade, historically, there've only really been 3 major gay Black comics. There was there's this one dude in the UK, and then there was Moms Mabley, who nobody knew was queer, and then there was Wanda Sykes.
Wanda Sykes. Who I looked up to. Before I knew I was gay, I knew Wanda Sykes was gay, and I was like, hell, like, I love her.
She's the best.
She is. So it's nice that you're being added to.
Being added. I'm getting vindicated. Solomon Giorgio. He tweeted my album.
He tweeted it. Dwayne Perkins. Like, that's amazing. I'm really happy.
Larry Owens, who just won. What's the drama award? A
drama desk award.
Huge. And it's also like just to hear Brandon, you talk about just your story coming up and how people made it so hard for you, and you being able to like share that story on these huge platforms. It's just like
this is what happened.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's great. It's like people
all my life I had to fight.
You've made it already so much easier for everyone else.
Well, that's my whole thing. I feel like there's a lot. There's sometimes I've just like seen like senior queer comics or comics that are more senior to me, like fake hell people.
Oh hell
or like just not do anything, and I'm just like, well, what's the point of doing
exactly. I think whenever I think about you, I'm definitely, it's first anger. No, I'm kidding.
It's anger,
rage.
It's definitely like a sense of community, because I think that Black queer comics in general, but specifically Black queer comics, really like, we really try and keep our community together, because we don't have much else other than each other. So yeah. I'm really excited for everybody to like keep buying the album, keep listening.
It got added to 2 other networks in the States, so that's cool.
No way! Yeah. Oh, that's amazing!
So that's cool. We're doing it.
I'm happy. Yes. I'm happy to see you like keep like breaking barriers.
I hope so. I'm glad things are coming. Things are coming up. There's things I can't talk about that are happening.
No, and that's.
But you guys know.
I know a little bit.
But I won free final draft yesterday. I could talk about that.
That's huge. Final Draft is expensive.
Uh-huh.
No, that's for sure.
Wow.
But no, Brandon, and it's like, I've said this to you a bunch, but like, this is your year, and it's like,
this is my year in the weirdest time.
It's the weirdest time, but in a way, it's like, it's almost, I mean, obviously not great because COVID sucks, but it's like, I feel like because we are doing like things over Zoom now, it's like you've been able to really like do all these interviews because people are now considering like Zoom stuff as an option. So you're like your reach has like expanded in a kind of odd.
I've been doing shows in California.
Yeah, which is amazing.
I love that. I love that. So I'm hoping people buy the album, but I'm looking at our list of topics to talk about. And the next topic is fights. Let's talk about us fighting each other, Brandon.
Okay, so let's fight.
No, I'm kidding. We don't have to.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
I'm ready. I got
Brandon on Facebook did say that I was meaner than Ellen.
He was so mean.
I heard a rumor that you threw a mug at an intern.
He did. It was my grandmother. It was
I
my
would
grandmother.
never throw a mug at your grandmother.
And then she quit the show, and then she did the Bobby Shmurda dance on Instagram yesterday.
And it was so funny. Oh my god, I was crying. She reminds me so much of my grandmother. Like full of life.
She was in a good mood that day. She was in a good mood that day.
What did she do when she's in a bad mood?
Oh my god, she was like arguing with my brother. So what she did is she like made a barbecue today, but then she left the barbecue open, so all the wood in it was wet at the bottom. But then she was like, so then she just spent like an hour arguing with my brother, and I was like, just leave her, just let her. He's like, she's gonna get burnt, and I'm like, okay, just leave her, let her get burnt. And then whatever, she like fixed the fire, and it was fine. Yeah. But she was literally like screaming outside. She was just like, go away, go away. Another thing she did was okay. So I have my personal checkbook, but because when I first got a bank account, I did it joint with her, so I didn't have to pay the monthly fee because seniors don't have to pay for monthly fees. So whatever, I have a checkbook, but it has both of our names on it. But it's my checkbook, and I've tried to explain this to her several times, but she doesn't listen. So whatever, she has to write a check for something. I can't remember what, but she wrote a check, and then it went into my bank account, and they took all my money out, and I was like I was so upset, and then I was just like, what is this? What's happening? And then she was like, I wrote my name, and I'm like, it's my checkbook. So then she's like, whatever, you loser. And then, we went to the bank. The bank is like right down the street. Yeah. And then the bank manager had to like explain it to her, and then she finally listened. Yeah. And then when I went home, I was like so upset that I just like went home, and then I was telling my brother what happened, and as soon as she heard me, she was like, and she's just like, shut up. And she's like, both of you are paying rent, $500 a month. And I was just like, okay.
Yo, she kills me. Oh my god.
I love it.
Anyone with a black grandmother will understand.
They cannot be wrong. Like when you're wrong, you never forget it. I'll never but when they're wrong, that's in the past. We have to move on.
When my grandma is wrong, she closes her eyes. Like, she acts like a toddler. I'm like, Grandma, you left the stove on. She's like, no. And, like, we'll leave the room with her eyes closed.
I remember one time my grandmother was mopping. This is when I was a little kid, and I had, like, a PlayStation 2, and it was, like, brand new. Yeah. It was just there. And my grandmother, like, was picking it up, and then dropped it.
Oh, my God.
And then tried to pick it up again, and then dropped it, and kept dropping it. And I was like, no. And it was just, like, she just kept dropping it. She's like, it's so slippery. It's so slippery. And then she broke it. She just fully broke it. She fully broke it. And she's like, I didn't do it. You did it.
Your grandma's not wrong. Those things are... Okay, I'm actually crying because those things are slippery. And I remember because at the day... Oh my God, I'm truly crying. At the daycare I went to as a kid, I remember I dropped... I don't think it was a... I think it was like a GameCube or something. It was so old, but it was slippery. And I dropped it too. So your grandma's right.
CBC, if you're listening, please give Brandon a show with his grandma.
We're gonna call it "Moving Up with the Mohammeds," and it's gonna be like a parody of.
Am I allowed to share? But like, Brandon does have that idea on the back burner.
I mean, I've written the pilot.
He's written the. So
I wrote it a long time ago.
If you want to see that show, sound off in the comments.
Go
contact CBC at CBC
Jam. But it's also, if you don't follow Brandon on Instagram, you should, just because it's great and funny. But also, you get stories of him asking his grandma about just stuff in the news,
Just,
or like
really
Nana news.
Nana news.
And she's like, I was like, Nana, what do you think of Jada Smith entanglement? And she was like, I don't care about rich people.
And
that is her
period.
That is her third eye is open. That is, I agree.
She's
truly
anti-capitalist. We stand. Speaking of Michael,
yes, Michael. We stand Michael. Oh my God,
Trisha Black.
Trisha Black.
Trisha Black.
We stand everyone in the comments.
People in the comments are sounding.
She don't even know what that
podcast?
is.
Yeah.
She's like,
I've tried to be like, Nana, I want to make you famous, and she's like, I already told you, I didn't want that.
She doesn't want the fame.
She's like, I told you I never wanted that. They tried to do it in Trinidad, and I was like, what? And then she just like wouldn't talk about it anymore. She's like, no.
Oh my God.
But then she'll drop like little things. Well, my grandmother was like a very beautiful woman.
Yes.
And they wanted her to like be Miss Trinidad or something.
Oh my God.
And they wanted her to be like a beauty queen, but then she would have to wear a bikini, and she wasn't allowed to wear a bikini.
Okay.
And her grandmother said no, so then she did do it.
Oh, it would have been so nice.
She would have won.
Was Miss Trinidad. That would have been so cool.
Yeah.
What sign is she?
She's August.
Is she a Virgo? Is she late August, early August?
She's August 30th.
She's a Virgo. That's why she's
She's a
insane.
Virgo.
Okay, she's not insane. She's really fucking funny.
I love that.
Oh, so that's why she's like that. Okay.
That's why she's like that.
Yeah, almost everybody in my family is a Taurus.
Oh,
all of my
I'm a
friends are
Taurus.
Tauruses. All my siblings are Tauruses.
That's right.
Both my brothers are Tauruses. I love one of my brothers, and I can't say the other one.
And they're both.
So that's my
They're
whole
both
relationship with Tauruses.
That's so funny.
I either really like them or I find them really annoying.
Oh, that's really funny. Oh my God. Okay, and you're a Capricorn. That's why Capricorn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Obvi.
I love that. Guys, I'm thinking we should start talking about.
Okay, let's talk about Miss Tina.
We need to talk about Miss Tina.
I'm very curious. What's your first memory of Tina Turner? It doesn't have to be like a music video or a song you heard, but like maybe like in passing you saw a picture of her. Like, what's your first memory of Tina Turner? Where she?
I think I remember watching her on Much Music, and I remember I would hear her songs on the radio in my grandfather's van, and then I think I remember we would watch. This was like her like 90s career. So I think it was I Don't Want to Fight, which was like her last top 10 single, and that was like a really big song.
Yeah.
And that was like my first memory kind of her from that like 90s era. When she was in her 50s, but like killing it.
She was in her 50s.
Wow.
Do you think that like at that do you think like when your parents listen to certain music, like certain artists, you're more inclined to like that artist?
Well, I was, because I liked the sound of old music more.
Okay. Yeah.
I was more interested. Anything that I heard on, what was it, 97.3 Toronto's Easy Rock? That's what I like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that. I agree completely. I really like that that's your first memory of her. I think that's really beautiful. So what was like, when you were younger, what was your favorite Tina track versus now?
I don't know. Okay, so I guess when I was younger, I like a lot of like deep Tina Turner cuts. So there's just like her stuff on like my favorite track when I was younger was called "One of the Living," which won a Grammy, and it was on the Mad Max soundtrack.
Oh
my
She was in Mad Max,
yeah.
right?
She was.
But right now, like my favorite Tina Turner song, I always hear it at No Frills, "Typical Male."
Yeah.
Okay, the Typical Male music video is iconic. The shoe.
Oh my God! I didn't even know you've seen it or knew what that was.
I haven't seen it.
When did you watch it? I used to watch it.
I haven't seen it in so long, but my only memory of it is that. So Abba, picture like the biggest shoe, the biggest shoe you've ever seen in your life.
It's just a big heel,
and like an ankle and like a pant attached to that shoe, and like Miss Tina's just like walking,
lying on it, kicking it, and she's just like.
It's really great.
She just does this the entire music video.
I forgot.
Tell me, lawyer, what to do.
My first memory of Tina, though, honestly.
Wait, how did you see this music video?
I literally can't for the life of me remember.
Oh,
I just remember
like,
that
Mama?
shoe. I remember the shoe was like a black and white, like it looks like a tap shoe or something.
You remember the shoe specifically?
I remember the shoe, but also my first Tina memory is like I just always knew that was her hair. You know what I mean? Does that make sense to you?
Her hair always confused me.
Okay, her hair used to make. Okay, this is my first memory of Tina since we're talking about it. I think I had probably watched the biopic before I saw her music videos, but my first memory for some reason is her What's Love Got to Do with It music video. And I remember seeing her hair and getting mad, just being like, what the fuck? I didn't like that it was like kind of spiky.
Oh, I love it.
I understood that she was kind of like a rock girl, and like
I didn't understand. I remember watching What's Love Got to Do with It music video, and I was just like, is she a hooker? Like, is she? Because she just like walking around, and I was just like, what is that? And my grandma's like, she's a street walker.
Well, it's interesting because like
looking for a trick.
Your Nana's gonna get a podcast on Sonar like tomorrow.
Michael, contact her immediately.
It's interesting that both of you didn't like her look growing up because like when I was doing a bit of research for the quiz I made that we're gonna do later, a lot, and like we can maybe unpack this later, but like a lot of what I found was like so many like facts or like whatever were like, did you know that Ike had like a huge part in like curating her image? And I'm like, okay, that's not like a huge part. It's like it's because he was like controlling her.
Oh my god, that's the craziest story. I just finished reading her latest book because she had a book in the 80s with was it Kurt Lloyd or whatever, and then I just finished reading that whole thing. She talked about that her whole image and how he would make her do her hair, and then when her hair fell out, and that's how she started using wigs. And she's the one that like popularized wig use in.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would love to talk about that.
Talk about it.
Because I was looking at pictures of them, and Ike was wearing a wig. I never noticed that he was wearing a wig, but recently when I looked at a photo of him, he was wearing a wig. So it was Tina Turner that popularized it.
Wow.
Like wearing wigs.
Wearing wigs on stage, but also she was the first person to really revolutionize the modern rock show, because she usually was just like people would like, oh, we're singing a song, blah blah blah, like, but she had dancers, she had choreography, because she was a dancer first, and she was also like one of the like she's the one she taught Mick Jagger how to dance.
Well, he stole.
No, she taught him how to do it.
But did he like not give her credit or something?
Or something like she didn't give him credit, but she's like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think that's a bit yucky.
You know, it's very interesting. I think that is yucky too, because I was watching an old video of her. I can't remember what show it was, but it was.
She's okay with it.
It was one of the first times she had performed. What's it called? Rolling on the river.
Proud Mary.
Proud Mary.
It was one of the first times she had performed it live, and she was wearing this really short frock, and she was dancing while she was singing. Her vocals were not touched at all. Like this woman was shaking, like really going off. Her vocals did not falter even once, but her dancing was like it was extreme. Like like I was watching it and like I was exhausted by watching her dance. Like.
I feel like we still like see that choreo too whenever people
that's
like
all her. That's all her.
Like,
the Ikettes was all like she invented that whole thing. Yeah. And it's crazy. She was doing that choreography up until her 70s.
Oh my god.
It's like that's
incredible.
I also want to talk about this. Like that woman has been through so much.
Well, people don't understand that she was with Ike from when she was like a teenager.
Yes.
Until she was almost like 40.
Yeah.
She was like married to him for 16 years. I think it was her 16th year of marriage or something is when she finally like ran away. She talked about in her book that she just like had enough. He beat her up, and when he was sleeping, she just like escaped. And she ran across a highway.
Yep.
Like an actual highway, almost got hit by a truck so that she could get away from him. And people don't also realize that she owed him so much money. So for the first like couple decades of like her most of her career after that was her paying him back, and she had to she had a friend, I can't remember who it was, but her friend would help her get gigs, and while this was all happening, Ike was trying to get her killed. So Ike was trying to like get a hit on her or something like that, and then Ike had beef with the mafia, so then the mafia went and like beat him up, so he stopped eventually. But there was a point where she was just like, he eventually she ran away, and she was just like at her friend's house, and like, oh, you want to be by yourself? Here you go, and then gave her all of the kids, and then he was like, you have to figure this out yourself. You're gonna be back. And one time he shot up the house. He got someone to shoot up the house. But she also didn't have the support of her mother. Her mother was just like, you need to go back to him. You know, he's done so much for you. Blah, 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 blah. So that took like, I can't remember exactly when she left him, but it was like a significant difference. And she was kind of, she was touring for a while and kind of doing like Vegas, like those retro acts. And it was like, she had this really big following because she was very good friends with, David Bowie, Mick Jagger, and what got her attention, I think she was performing in New York, and David Bowie was in town, and David Bowie was just like, I'm gonna go see my favorite artist, and he's like, who's that? And he was like, oh, Tina Turner. So then through that, all of these people started coming to her shows, and then I can't remember his name, but he's Olivia Newton-John's, or he was Olivia, I don't know if he's still Olivia Newton-John's manager, but he had given Olivia Newton-John her biggest hit, which was Physical. Interesting fact about Physical was the longest running #1 single of the 1980s.
What?
So he was interested in Tina, and he like signed Tina from seeing that, and he had like this whole idea of like of all this stuff. I can't remember the specifics, but she did a cover of Al Green's "Let's Stay Together." And that was like what kind of like relaunched her, because it started getting airplay and it started getting played on MTV. And from there, they were like, you have 2 weeks to record an album.
Wow. Okay. You know
2
what?
weeks?
I think what you're saying is very telling.
Well, I just want to say one more thing. Well, at this point, Tina Turner was, I think, 40-something. She was a 40-something-year-old black woman in the 80s. And the 80s is the visual era of music. So that is where it's like the looks are the most important thing. So for her to be a middle-aged black woman at that time, where it was also extremely racist, like MTV did not play black people until Michael Jackson had to, or CBS had to boycott MTV and say that they're going to pull all of their artists unless they played Michael Jackson's Billie Jean. And that is how black people started getting played on MTV. And that is like the whole, that's the whole time. So for her to have that level of success was crazy.
Crazy. And that's why I kind of want to talk about that, because like it's so sad to see that same story is like very relevant today. Like a lot of black women don't get clout or like don't get the opportunities that they deserve, the money that they deserve, until they have a white cosign.
A white cosign.
White cosign, and I think that's really fucked up.
We can also talk about women over 40 in music and how they're the only person that has been able to chart consistently that's been over 40 is Sia, and I think it's because nobody can see Sia. Nobody
knows what she looks like. And then another aspect of Tina Turner's career that's so interesting to me is like how much misogynoir she's come up against, like from being with Ike, like being with. So like if you're a black person, and we both know this, Brandon, for listeners, when you're black, obviously we all face the same struggles regardless of gender. However, once we put gender into play, like we see that obviously black women, black queer people, we obviously face more violence, we face more marginalization, and it's because we are so many intersections at once. And so I think it's really interesting that when we're talking about Tina's career and we're saying that she had to get a white cosign, it's the exact same thing as anyone coming up in any industry today. You have to get a white cosign for anyone to know that you're about shit. And I think that's really, that hasn't changed.
What else was I going to talk about? Oh, also, when she first came back, nobody wanted to work with her because everyone was like, oh, where's Ike? That's half the show. Nobody wants to see this. Nobody wants to see you. It was, I can't remember who it was, but it was like Cher helped her a lot. Cher would have her on her show. I can't remember what her name is. I'm going to Google her name really quickly. I think it's
great that like, his, like, we do not, like, it's so funny that there was a time when people were like, oh, we don't want to take you without Ike. And now it's like,
who's Ike?
Who's Ike?
Ike was insane. If you watch like Ike died in 2006 of a heroin overdose, and the man was in his like 70s.
What?
Oh, wow.
He never got over that life.
That man had trouble.
Yeah, she talked about how he was abused a lot as a kid, and that's like where everything came from, and how he would have sex with every single person. Well, I don't know if he had sex with men, but she talked about every single woman that he had came in contact with. He would have sex with them in order to have some sort of control over them.
That's so disgusting. That's so fucking disgusting. I hate that she had to go through that. I remember watching the biopic when I was very young and not understanding what was happening, but then watching again when I was 17 and being fucking floored.
There's like a documentary that she did. And my grandmother was watching it, and it's called The Girl from Nutbush, and it's like about that like time in the 80s, and she talks about that whole period. Like, people don't know that Tina Turner also left America because she didn't like she was talking about how, and this is very true, where I've seen this happen with several artists, where essentially the way that the American recording industry works is that they will hold artists back because they don't fit a certain thing. So her music, she was a black woman singing rock music. So they're like, oh, your music isn't black enough. Your music is too white, blah, blah, blah. So they would hold her music back. So a lot of her, like, some of what should be her biggest hits were held back.
Yeah.
And this has happened to, like, we've seen this happen to, like, Lil Nas X, where they removed him from the country charts.
Yeah.
I was listening to this documentary about Madonna and Hung Up. And Hung Up went number one in essentially every single country that it was released in. And the only one it did hit number one was the States, and it was because the American record or the American whatever radio whatever were like holding her back. So that's what the kind of environment that she had to go through. And that's why she went to Europe, because she was like, yo, they're more accepting of me. They love me. My husband's there. Or she wasn't her husband, her boyfriend.
Her boyfriend.
Also, Europe's just nicer.
It's nicer. And now that you mention that, it reminds me of like, Kelly Rowland's. Like, when she went solo and started making music, and she was doing house music specifically, like techno, dance music.
David Guetta.
My love takes over. It was going on in Europe. Yeah. The Europeans were loving her. But in North America, it was considered a flop. It also reminds me of how, like, a lot of genres, a lot of artists who are Black women and who do genre bending shit are always still categorized as R&B. They'll never be categorized as alternative music.
But there's never been a Black female rock singer since. Or before. There's Fifi Dobson. And Jada Pinkett Smith.
What about Fifi Dobson?
Yeah, Fifi Dobson. I feel like they need to do, like, I don't know when it's, because I guess the 20th anniversary of her first album is coming up. They need to do something and kind of celebrate it and be like, yo, this was like a groundbreaking album, and she never got the chart success that she deserved. She was like, she had some crossover in the States, because I was talking to somebody who's from New York, and they talked about how Fifi Dobson and Pharrell came to his high school.
Really?
Yeah, because I remember she was on All That.
Yes.
Fifi Dobson was on All That?
Yeah.
Why don't I remember that?
I remember it.
I don't know how old I was. I was very young when All That was on.
But there's there's no representation of Black women in rock music except for
and that's why I think, like, we hold on to people like Fifi Dobson and Tina Turner so much, because it's like, I mean, Fifi Dobson, Tina Turner, am I listening to their music constantly the same way that I'm listening to all my other artists? No, but like,
I am.
You are.
Brandon is.
But like, it's like, I almost feel an obligation, because it's like these women get left out in the dark so easily because they don't fit the mold.
I feel like Tina Turner is still like everyone knows that she's like a legend.
Yes.
She's one of the only ones that is still like revered. Well, there's so many ones that are like left behind. Like, people know who Tina Turner is. People don't know who like Donna Summer is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Me. No, I'm kidding.
But even now there are like Black rock artists like Yola, who like Yola should be like, she should be performing at the Grammys by now.
And can I say something? Like, indie rock artists like Santi Gold, like they
yes.
Oh my god, I got kicked out of a Santi Gold concert.
Why did you
Shut
get
up?
kicked out?
Which tour?
This was like with her first album.
Yes.
Okay, so what happened was, picture it. I think it was 2009. And me and my friend Max, I've told you guys about Max. Max was my best friend in high school. And we wanted to see Santi Gold, but it was 19 plus, and we were like 16, 17. So we got there at 9 a.m. because we were waiting for her tour bus to pull up. So that we could be like, hey, like, Santi Gold, like, sneak us in. So whatever. Santi Gold did not come until like 2 hours before the concert or something. Or something ridiculous like that. So we were there for hours. We tried to get in at one point, and the security guards were like, you guys look a little young. And we're like, no, we just left our ID at the hotel. Let us in. And they're like, nah, you guys are get out of here. So then, whatever. We tried to talk to, there was this other, remember Amanda Blank?
Amanda Blank, who that?
Amanda Blank was part of I think they're called Mushroom Records. So there was a bunch of them. It was Amanda Blank, Santa Gold, MIA. They were all part of this indie girl crew of that. Yeah. But she didn't want to let us in. So then we found Santi Gold, and I met Santi Gold. I met her. We met her, and we're like, hey, Max was just like, hey, Santiago, can I ask you a question? And she's like, sure. So then she was just like, hi, Santiago, we left our blah, blah, blah at the hotel, blah, blah, blah. We really would love to see you, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, we're from the States. And then she's like, I'm coming to your thing. And we're like, oh, we can't make it, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, sure, just come in. So then she snuck us into her concert, and I was just like, I couldn't even speak. I was just like, she was like, you're so cute. And I was just like,
oh my god.
So whatever, we sneak into the concert, we see Amanda Blank, and we see Trouble Andrew, who was her then boyfriend. Remember Trouble Andrew?
Vaguely.
He was this weird white guy. I remember on MySpace when she posted a photo with him. She posted a photo with him, and someone commented. It was this black lady commented, and it's the funniest quote ever. She was just like, I heard a white chocolate, but that's just straight up milk.
Chocolate, but that's the straight up milk.
Oh,
such a I still use that. But so whatever, we're having a good time. Salsicle just performing. She's maybe on her second or third song, and Max moved out of the way because Max was very tall, and people were like, we can't see, you're too tall, so he moved out of the way. And then we're at the corner, and then oh my god, I remember I had I was just holding this Lady Gaga poster because they were this was the same time the Fame was popping.
Yeah, the Fame.
And so whatever, the security guards see us and they're like, hey, how'd you get in here? And then Max went to run away, and the guy just pulled him in. And then I was just like, oh, okay, I guess I'll go. I can't leave you. But I was gonna leave him. So then he just starts pushing us out of the concert.
Ew, wow.
So he's pushing us through the people, pushing us through the crowd. And he's like, get out of here. And then he's just pushing Max through the hallway, pushing Max, and I'm just and he pushes and he kicks us. We literally got thrown outside, and that was.
I hate bouncers.
It was at Phoenix near you.
Oh my god.
Of course, it was at Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Of course, it was at Phoenix.
That's
oh my god.
Sorry that you got kicked out.
That's so funny.
But you got to meet Santiago.
I got to meet Santiago.
That's amazing.
She's very short. She's very tiny.
I was gonna ask.
She's tiny, and she's a lot darker than you think she was. I liked it. She's a dark skinned diva.
Yeah. You know what? Honestly, all these indie girls that popped off in the early, the 2010s, 2011s.
Go off.
Santa Gold. It should have been. Always should have been.
Well,
her.
Santa Gold is the writes everything.
Yeah.
Lights out.
Lights out.
Lights
She's in all of these ads.
Yeah.
Remember, she wrote her signature is I. She goes I. Because remember, she wrote that for Ashley Simpson. Out of my head. I don't know what she's up to. Santiago, we love you.
We love you, and we hope you're listening.
No, and Abba, you're absolutely right. It's weird how the alternative umbrella or the indie rock umbrella is very much gatekeeped.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? It's like some artists can access that, white artists, and others it's well, let's see if you qualify.
You don't fit the mold.
Yeah.
There's no history of that. And I'm just Prince, Lenny Kravitz.
Thank you.
Because I think the thing is that rock music is seen as a white type of music, even though it was invented by black people.
Yeah.
Little Richard, Ike Turner created rock music too. He was one of the first rock musicians.
Yeah, it's truly wild. I'm happy that we got an opportunity to talk about it though, because I think that it's something that still permeates the way the music industry works.
Mm-hmm.
I think it sucks, but it's changing now because
Tina's back. Tina's back, guys.
She's back.
Tina just got her, or what's that? Kygo.
Yes.
So he remixed "What's Love Got to Do with It," and it's #1 in iTunes in a bunch of countries. It's doing quite well, but she's planning some sort of comeback. I think. I don't think she's gonna perform, but I know that she's coming up with several books this year. There's gonna be another biopic made for TV movie with HBO. I'm part of this group. I've been part of this group since high school. It's called the Global Tina Turner Fan Page.
Oh my god!
and all of the tea gets like spilled. All the tea, they're all just like sharing stuff, and they're like, "We gotta make this number one, guys. We gotta make this number one," and everyone's like working so hard internationally to like
I love that.
get Tina. But she just had her musical. Yeah.
Wait, what? I did not know that.
So she just produced a musical of her life. Mm-hmm. And it was on. I think it debuted on the West End. I think it was supposed to go to Broadway, but with COVID, it didn't happen.
Right.
Yeah.
But in her book, she was talking about like she went through so much because she got married to her husband, who is I can't remember. I think he's 16 years younger than her, and they had been dating for like 20, 30 something years at this point, and they finally got married. And then when that happened, she had a stroke. Then she got. I found out her kidneys were failing.
No.
And then she found out she had cancer.
No.
And she was just like, yo, I'm just going to die. Yeah. Like, let me just die. And then her husband was like, no, I need you. So he gave him a kidney. And then she got the kidney. But then she got treated for cancer. And then she wasn't allowed to get the kidney because she had heart condition because she had high blood pressure. Basically, she did all this crazy shit where she wasn't listening to her doctor. And they're like, you need to take your blood pressure medication because it's like, watch out for high blood pressure. Because she had high blood pressure her entire life and did not take care of it. And a lot of
black people do. It's because bitches be pissing us off.
she's just like, oh, I just have high blood pressure. That just means that's just like, oh
no.
Some people got low blood pressure. That's what she thought it was.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was definitely a mixture being a black woman in the music industry and Ike.
Yeah,
and she used to perform and all the craziness. But yeah, she's just like,
damn.
She almost died, but she came back and she's killing it. 80
Super
years old.
Speaking of resilience, I really want to talk about her biopic with Angela Bassett.
I always found that, like, well, her whole story has just, like, always been such an inspiration for so many people. Mm-hmm. Like, I remember when she was talking about, or Oprah was talking about how she went to a Tina Turner concert, and this woman was just like, seeing her perform is giving me the strength to leave my abusive husband. And people would just, like... So she had like this influence, but let's talk about the biopic.
No, absolutely. I think her presence is very like, it's a signifier. It's like she's like a naturally resilient person, but I think for a lot of black women, we can like sympathize with all the shit that she's been through. Even if we haven't directly experienced it, we definitely know somebody who has. And in this age with Twitter, those kinds of stories are a lot more present. So I think she's very like emblematic of that. But I really want to talk about her biopic. Like what are your thoughts on the biopic? Do you like it? Were you a fan?
I like it. I always thought it was good. I know that Tina wasn't a fan of certain aspects of it. Because she was like, certain things didn't happen or they were over dramatized.
Okay.
And she wasn't a fan of that.
Okay.
Like, are there any examples?
There was, trigger warning. There's a sexual assault scene, and she didn't like that. She said that didn't happen, and she didn't like that.
Okay.
And the part at the end of the movie where she is held at gunpoint by Ike after she's like gotten all this stuff. That didn't happen. That did not happen.
Yeah, that seems a bit Hollywood.
She told the story like when she got. This was the last time she talked to Ike. So she had just popped off. She had won 3 Grammys. Record of the Year, Song of the Year. I think maybe she won Album of the Year that year. I don't know. But Ike was just like, we should do a reunion tour, and her management like reached out to him, and she was just like, oh, maybe you should do it. And she was just like, do you know what I went through? I will never go back to that thing. And that was the last time she ever heard from him ever again.
Oh, thank God.
And they have kids together. They had a child together.
Yeah. That's fucking wild. Can we talk about Angela Bassett's performance in that though? Did you like it?
I liked it. She should have won the Oscar.
Thank you. She should have won that motherfucking Oscar.
Who was she nominated up against?
Let's look it up.
Let's look it up.
But while we're looking it up, I just want to mention that like, honestly, I assumed that she had won an Oscar for that performance.
Yeah.
As a child, when I watched that movie, I was like, of course she's like an Oscar.
Has Miss Bassett, has she won an Oscar?
No, she has not won an Oscar.
That is baffling.
She's the equivalent, in my mind, of Meryl Streep.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I shouldn't even have to make that equivalence.
No.
It shouldn't even have to
a lot.
like that, but...
She's an incredible actress. I've said this before and I'll say it again. She first came into my heart in the incredible film Akeelah and the Bee. And her performance is, she's a mother who's lost her child.
That's what she came.
It's.
I was like, that was your
child.
first movie? That was your
I was a child.
Loves Akeelah and the Bee.
I love Akeelah and the Bee.
I love Akeelah and the Bee
Lawrence
too.
Fishburne, incredible performance.
And he was fine as fuck.
And Disney doesn't make movies like that anymore.
They don't, and they won't.
They won't.
They're like,
Did you know Akeelah and the Bee was written by a white person?
No.
Yeah. It was written as he was just like, oh, I heard about this thing. This kid won a spelling bee.
I'm
a
so
spelling bee. It was
disappointed.
like,
I'm
imagine
so
if you're
disappointed, but not surprised.
because I was like looking up, I was like, I hope this is a true story.
Yeah.
So the person that won was Holly Hunter for The Piano, which won very big that year. Anna Paquin won an Oscar for that for supporting actress for The Piano, and people thought it should have gone to Rosie Perez that year.
Yes, and it should have. And you know what? Anna Paquin winning the Oscar that year, that was a stunt because they were like, let's give it to this kid who everyone was like, this kid is great. And you know what? I'm gonna say it. That's tied into Hollywood's pedophilic nature. And that's
really.
Whoopi Goldberg hosted the Oscars that year.
She hosted the Oscars. I can't.
Yeah, and she told because I remember reading Rosie Perez's book, and she's like Whoopi whispered in her ear and was just like, I think you're gonna win it, kid. And then she was happy. But then Rosie's father was just like, it's gonna go to the kid. Sorry.
Fuck yeah.
And then her father was right.
Angela Bassett is perfect.
I love her in American Horror Story. Oh yeah,
she was
Texas.
great in American Horror Story,
right?
Marie Laveau.
Marie Laveau.
She's such a great performer in general. I really like her episode of Master of None.
ABBA?
Sorry, canceled. But
oh yeah, I mean,
but Master of None, that episode, Lena Waithe's episode.
Exactly. That episode, I feel like, is excluded from the Master of None pantheon because that is very much like a Lena Waithe project to me. Like that's her story, you know.
And on top of this, I just want to talk about this because I feel like a lot of coming out stories that we hear are white coming out stories, and it's like your parents are shocked at first, but they accept you. And with a lot of people of color, particularly Black people. Like,
oh my God, I have to tell you the story after.
Please tell us that story after. But I'll probably never get a chance to come out to my parents because I don't know what the fuck will happen, right? So watching that episode, even though her mother didn't take the news immediately and was kind of like, "Why are you making life harder for yourself?" I still love that episode so much because if only my parents could react like that when I told them I'm queer, like, you know.
You are gay?
Girl, you were serving Hotel Row 1? Like, my mom will probably be like,
I just imagine your grandmother being like,
my grandma
just leaving the room, closing her eyes and leaving the room.
No, this is what my grandma would do. She'd go, no, and leave. She always does that. I remember one time I wanted to wear a mini skirt to church, and my mom was yelling at me, and my dad was like, no, and my grandma saw the mini skirt, and she went, no, and exited the room.
So supposedly there was some like drama with when my album got released with like my dad's side of the family. So it's like my dad's mother and his aunt and my aunt, and they were like upset that I don't know if it was that I was gay or that I didn't come out to them, and they're like, we didn't have our moment, kind of thing. And I asked my cousin about it, and she was just like, yeah, they're mad that you didn't come out to them. And I was just like, I don't need to do that.
Queer people shouldn't have to come out.
Exactly.
When I have children, if they happen to be queer and if they come out to me, I'll be very disappointed.
I've never done it. I'm just like, whatever. Yeah. My grandmother told me, she was just like, oh, Justin said that you're gay, and your other grandmother and your aunt are upset. And I said, I don't care. That's his life. That's not my business.
We love that. We love that very much. We love that.
It's also like that's very much like the same thing happened with my abuela when she found out I was gay.
Oh, she knows? I didn't know she knew.
Well, she's dead now.
Oh,
so she took it to the grave. But I remember, like, I feel like she was like, what I think she actually was disappointed that I was gay, but she like channeled that disappointment to be me like, you should have told me yourself, because she found out like through like my aunts or whatever. And I'm like, I think like you being mad that I didn't tell you in person is just a version of you being like, I wish you weren't.
Well, I was just like, she's like, my other grandmother's also very crazy. But like I remember when I stayed with her, and she was just like, oh, here's, I don't know if I've told you guys this story, where she kept 2 books in the room. Yeah, she kept 2 books, One in the room for me. One was the Book of Negroes.
Yeah.
And the other one was the Bible, just in case I wanted to do some light reading.
Mm-hmm.
And then when she came back and saw that the Bible was untouched, she was like, I'm going to take this back since you're obviously not using it.
So shady.
Oh my god. Okay, Ben, I just remembered. Sorry not to cut off this conversation. We have to do a quiz.
So we have. I made a little quiz. I made a little quiz. So what's gonna happen? Oh my god, I'm nervous and excited. I made a little quizzy about Tina Turner. I'm gonna send you the link now. So I'll be quizzing Brandon and Abba about Tina Turner. This is called the Tina Turner test. I'm just getting that linky. And you know what? I realize that making a quiz is like a lot easier than one would think. Anyone can really make a quiz.
Then I was so stressed out about it. I was like, I'm gonna fuck it up.
Yeah, that's why I was just like, you know what? Ben needs to make this quiz. I'm like, Ben, go make the motherfucking quiz.
And
you guys seem so stressed. So I was like, oh, I can help you guys if you need help. I didn't know. I thought it was like a quiz for people to do, like just like they're doing the quiz after. Like a fun interactive thing, and then you were being so sassy with me, and then I was just like, "What's wrong with this bitch?" I was like, "I'm just trying to help her. I was trying to help her." I felt very attacked. Okay, Ellen, go back to the fucking bridge. Go back to the motherfucking bridge. I'm there trying to help you.
So calm myself.
And here's the thing. You know what?
Run and tell that.
Here's the thing.
Oh shit.
Brandon was at, and that was me. I did that. Brandon wanted to add questions in the quiz, but then it would be like, if you knew the answers to the quiz, then who would be quizzing who?
Exactly.
Well, who would be quizzing who?
I'm quizzing you and
Who's quizzing who?
I'm quizzing you and Abba.
I'm the expert.
Okay, let's all take the quiz.
Yes, so
Who's
Brandon, get your phone. Get your phone out, Brandon. You have. I sent it to our group chat.
So Ben, Ben, you read out the questions. We will answer privately, and then we will read our results at the end.
Yes, that's perfect. Okay, so question number 1.
Okay.
What is Miss Tina Turner's?
Wait, where do I do this?
Do you see the link in the Facebook group?
Where? Oh, that was where I got the text. Okay.
Yeah. Don't worry, Brent.
Okay.
The first couple of questions are very easy.
Okay, I got that done.
Okay.
I like that.
So what is Miss Tina Turner's real birth name? Answer number 1, Anne Marie Bushwick. Answer number 2, Anna Mae Bullock. Or answer number 3, Anne Mae Brown. Or answer number 4, Anne Purnell.
It's Anne Purnell.
It's Anne Purnell.
It's Anne Purnell? Okay, so that is actually incorrect.
I already knew that.
Miss Tina Turner's real name is Miss Anna Mae Bullock. Okay. Question number 2. Well, this is so easy. We already talked about this.
I'm already on question 3.
Yeah. Well, Brandon, I'm leading. You follow me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Brandon's just doing the quiz on his own.
I don't know. Well, I thought that's what we were supposed to do. And we were reviewed. I don't understand. See, why is he doing this quiz? I told him. Emma. This podcast is canceled. I'm tired of Ellen. I'm tired of Ben Ellen DeGeneres. Okay. Ellen BenGeneres.
Ellen BenGeneres. Or Bellin.
Yeah, Bellin.
Okay. Oh my god.
Let's answer this question.
We'll skip question number. We'll skip this one because we all know she was born in Nutbush. Brampton, Ontario.
City limits.
She was born in Brampton, Ontario. Okay. So, where did Tina and Ike get married? I found this interesting.
Oh my god, I have tea about that.
So, was she married in Brampton? Was she married in America, Los Angeles? Or was she married in Tijuana, Mexico?
She was married in Brampton.
She was married in Brampton.
Abba was there.
No, Jacob. She's married
there.
in Tijuana, which is so random to me.
She was married at Bramley Mall.
Before it was renovated.
Yeah. Okay, so the tea on this is he like kind of like took her there. It was like a bootleg wedding, and then for their like celebration, he took her to some like weird sex show. And Tina Turner is very like prim and proper and very much like a lady. And she was like, I was physically sick. I almost threw up.
Why'd they go on their wedding day?
He took her there. He like was just like, gross. You can get it fast. Well, he was crazy. He didn't do it because he loved her. He did it because then he would have control over her. That was why he married her.
I hate him.
I hate Ike. Don't worry, he comes up in the quiz, but in a way that makes us all feel better.
Good.
Okay.
Ben Generous made me spit out my ear.
Thank you, Trisha.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ellen DeGeneres might have to be my drag name.
That's your
Drag Race Canada.
You ain't generous.
But I am married to Portia. Okay.
Okay.
So,
okay.
So no. Question number, I forget what number, but which Tina Turner song was covered by the late, great Naya Rivera on Glee?
It was.
Number 1, River Deep Mountain High. Number 2, Proud Mary. Number 3, Nutbush City Limits. Or number 4, all of the above.
All of the above.
It was Tina Turns the Country On.
What?
That's like a Tina Turner album.
Oh.
Before.
But she did sing all those songs.
Yeah. That is an album.
Where did Tina?
R.I.P. Naya Rivera.
I know, that is really upsetting.
It is upsetting.
I know.
It really is upsetting.
She was really, her and Amber Riley were the only good parts about Glee.
Right? And if you watch them, if you watch interviews with the whole cast, Naya and Amber are always like very like they're friends. It's so sweet to see them interact with each other.
They're cute,
especially learning the cast drama. But I'm so sad. Really what a loss.
I know it was
so upsetting. But okay. Moving on.
What are we gonna do, Ben?
Next question.
Where did Tina Turner break the world record for largest documented live performance? Number 1, Spain. Number 2, USA. Number 3, South Africa. Number 4, Brazil. Or number 5, Brampton, Ontario.
Number 5, Brampton, Ontario.
Yo, Rose Theater. Rose Theater.
It's Brampton, Ontario. JK,
Heritage Theater.
It was Brazil.
It was the Heritage Theater.
It was the Heritage. Brampton don't got no type of culture. Fuck.
I knew it was
we need
Brazil.
to go to Brampton. We should do a live Nostalgique in Brampton.
To 4 people that will show up to Rose Theater.
I'm not mad at that.
I don't even know how Rose Theater is paying their mortgage, anyways.
Okay, so this
it's owned by the city, so I think that they just.
We're gonna skip this question because we already talked about it. Okay, so who is trash? Number 1, Ike. Number 2, Ike. Number 3, Ike. Number 4, Ike. Or number 5, all of the above.
I would go so far as to say Ike.
Yeah?
I would say Ben Sosa right.
That's the secret answer.
Yeah.
And Brandon actually won 5 million bonus points with that one. So Brandon's in the lead, and Abba, you have -3 points.
Fuck you. I'm your
Sorry,
mom.
girl. Okay. Ooh, this was interesting.
Okay.
Brandon probably knows about this from the book. What stage name did Miss Tina Turner go by before landing on Tina Turner? Number 1, Abba Emaquando. Number 2, Little Mix. Number 3, Brandon Ash Muhammad. Number 4, Ann Nutbush. Or number 5, Little Ann.
I'll say Abba Emaquando.
Abba Emaquando's Abba's answer.
Little Ann.
It's Little Ann.
It's Little Abba Emaquando.
She should have gone by Little Abba. Oh my god. Okay. How many Grammys did What's Love Got to Do with It win?
I think it was 4.
Brandon's right.
I'm going to steal your answer. It was 4.
Oh my god, you're both right. So now Abba is also tied with Brandon at 5 million points.
God, love it.
Okay. What is Ben's favorite Tina music video?
I think it's Private Dancer.
It's Typical Man.
It's Typical Man. And you know what, Abba, you're
typical
a good listener.
male. It's not
typical,
even.
Sorry, typical male.
Okay, you know what? See, this is why he shouldn't have done the quiz. See,
well,
okay,
Brandon,
see? You're proving my point. Proving my point. He's canceled.
This
son.
Is it Gwen?
He's just showing us things.
These are all my merch. My tour merch.
Wait, we have one more question.
Wait, we have one more question. Okay, so this is, I don't think anybody will ever get this one. I mean it. And you know what? Whoever does get this.
What's Ben's favorite Tina song?
What's my favorite Tina song? So, okay.
This
River Deep, Mountain High. Tonight. Better Be Good to Me. or I Can't Stand the Rain?
It's I Can't Stand the Rain.
Brandon, what's your answer?
I'm gonna say it's I Can't Stand the Rain too.
You are both right.
Because I'm like, it's such a weird answer out of all of those songs, so it's definitely that song.
Well, I love that
Missy
song.
Elliott sampled that.
She did. Me, I'm super fly.
And wait, I think that's the. Oh my God, you guys, we got 7 out of 11.
I got 11 out of 11. Sorry, baby.
5 out of 11, honey.
I got 11.
You got 5 out of 11.
Because I kept saying fucking grandpa.
11, make a wish.
Oh wait, can I say my wish out loud?
Okay.
Okay. My 11 wish is I want all of my friends to be healthy and happy and download and subscribe Nostalgique and Brandon's stand-up album. And also be nice to me. If you see me out there, smile at me, give me a little wave, say I got a nice haircut.
Yes, Mr. Haircut.
Mr. Haircut.
You got a haircut.
Which
I have
don't
not gotten a
cancel me
haircut.
for getting a haircut. I'm sorry.
You're not canceled for getting a haircut.
He got COVID. COVID cut.
My 11 wish is that I want world peace and people to download and buy Brandon's album, and for COVID, that ugly, stupid bitch to die, and for somebody to give me a nice kiss on the butt.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Oh my God, can I change my 11 wish? Can I change my 11 wish? I take mine back. Okay. My 11 wish is I want to also be kissed on the butt, but also when it's safe to do that, don't cancel me. And I want to get kissed on. Also, I like a little kiss like right beside the ear. Oh, is that freaky?
Little deaky bitch.
Okay, this is my 11 wish.
Okay.
My 11 wish is that Tina Turner goes on tour in the middle of COVID. She's like, fuck it, I don't care. And then she's like, Brandon, you know what? I want you to be also Tina Turner. And then like so then like she does half the show and then I do the rest.
I love
and buy my album. Yeah.
And buy Brandon's
just
album.
picturing Tina Turner coming up to your Brandon and saying, I need you to also be Tina Turner tonight.
I need you to be Tina Turner.
You need to be her.
Yeah.
Oh, Brandon.
Oh my God.
We obviously love talking to you every time because you're our
Are we doing we need to do an after party.
Oh, we're doing an after party for sure.
On Facebook for sure.
For sure.
But I mean, thank you so much. Thank you for your contributions to what is that cabin?
What are you sure?
2007.
I just found it.
Brandon just showed us a picture of him at camp.
You guys
There's so
see
many.
it?
Everybody, there's so many.
I think, where am I? I'm right here, and I was like, I'm emo this year. So I was just like, I have a toucan.
Yeah.
And I'm wearing eyeliner.
And it looks hot. It looks like it's hot and you have a toucan.
Oh,
Anyway.
I don't care. I don't care. I was alternative.
I love alternative Brandon.
We love alternative Brandon.
Thank you so much for doing the show.
You're the dream. We love you so much. Download download Brandon's album wherever.
Capricornication.
Capricornication.
Buy it today. Go to my link tree on my Instagram at Brandon AM Comedy.
Yes.
And
love it. And
okay, we're getting played out.
Bad Dog TV. Subscribe to Bad Dog TV's YouTube.
Subscribe to Bad Dog TV.
Yes.
Long live Coco
Sonar
Galore.
Donate to Bad Dog TV, and I second that. Long live Coco Galore.
Tina, if you see this, donate.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And we love it. Thank you.
We
Thank you to Sean.
Yes.
Thank you to Sean.
We love
Sean.
Sean.
To Sean, the magic behind the scenes for making us look good and making us sound good. Thank you so much.
We love you.
We'll see you guys later. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you for tuning in.
I'm Ben.
Love you, Sonar. Bye.
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 Network.